there, Terence McGuana here. Welcome back to the channel. You know, every now and then, you might like to see something from me nice and easy. But there's just one thing. I don't do nothing nice and easy. Here on this channel, we do it rough. So we're going to take the beginning of this video and we're going to do it easy. And then for the finish, we do it rough. And on today's show we're going to look at what's love got to do with it. What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? This film details Tina Turner's story from her childhood in Nutbush, Tennessee to her rise to fame in St. Louis under the leadership of rock and roll legend Ike Turner, which became an abusive marriage leading up to her resurgence in the 1980s. All the children say we don't need another hero. I've got a genuine deep love for rock and roll music, soul, funk, disco. That is my type of music, right? And this particular movie I saw when I was about 14, 15 years old on videotape, and I thought it was a brilliant movie. A lot of guys I know, they're really optimistic about superhero films, right? I've kind of fell out of favour with superhero films, but when you've got stuff like Batman Begins or Spider-Man, we always get those moments where there's Batman getting his cape for the first time, there's Batman getting the Batmobile for the first time, or Spider-Man is learning to swing across buildings for the very first time, and all the fanboys in the audience are going, oh my goodness, oh no, that's just amazing. Their heart is just palpitating at the sight of Spider-Man on screen for the very first time. Well, I'll tell you something, when I watched What's Love Got to Do with It last week, I had that feeling that I was watching a superhero film, right? I was watching a superhero movie because when Angela Bassett gets on stage for the very first time in this movie, where they do this sort of pass the mic scene, where Ike Turner's already an established artist and he's passing the mic out to other people in the audience, and eventually lands on Annie Bullock, you know, Tina Turner's original name. And she gets up on stage and she has that strut. She has the Tina Turner strut all ready to go, and it just felt like, whoa, here we go, this is how Tina Turner comes to life here, right? This is how the absolute rock icon comes to be. You know, it just felt like a superhero story. And also there's a moment in it where she's got chemicals in her hair and her hair starts falling out. So it's like, oh, is that how Tina Turner started wearing wigs, right? Whoa, here we go, right? And it's just all these little moments, all these little pieces of information that just comes together to build this rock and roll icon. I love that. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed these subtle little hints to how Tina Turner came to be. Apparently there's a lot of things messed around in this film, and that's what you get with biopics. That's what you tend to get with films that are about historical facts, right? You're not going to get the full story when it's a feature film. There was one bit that stood out for me. In 1960 they're playing at this theatre which is headlined by Otis Redding. Now I know, right, and anybody knows that Otis Redding did not have a record out in 1960. He was not an established singer. He was not known anywhere, right? He got his break a few years later with These Arms of Mine. These arms of mine, they are burning. Yeah, there's little historical inaccuracies in this film that kind of annoy me, but so what, right? It's all about the drama, it's all about this compelling story. And you must understand, with the touch of your hand makes my pulse react. But the main focus of this film is domestic violence, right? The main focus, this film, I chose this film to be part of this series because I think, and based on personal experience from my childhood, I think that What's Love Got to Do with It is probably one of the most accurate depictions of domestic violence that I've ever seen on screen. It really gets into that element of control, not just the actual physical violence, but the idea that this person has complete control over you. But the real heart of What's Love Got to Do with It is not about the violence, it's not about the terror, but I think it's about the escape from this, about the ability that Tina Turner had to get away from this situation, right? She had concert dates, she had a lot of responsibilities to this business. That's why I was thinking when I watched this film, it felt like a superhero film. I looked at it from that standpoint, that okay, Batman, Superman, the Green Lantern, whatever, they're all great, right? But this is real. Tina Turner is a real superhero, and you get to this moment where she makes her escape and it plays this almighty music, this big sort of crescendo, and it's so worthy of that moment, you know, making that decision to save your own life. To save your own life is heroic. This is about her overcoming the adversity of being, you know, completely strong-armed by this violent man. That's the thing about these abusers. They are absolute control freaks. If they don't have control, they get violent. They get violent if they don't have control. They want to keep you away from your friends and your family. They want to keep you isolated from things like that, so that they can have complete and utter control. I really don't understand why people have to be that way. See, personally, oh yeah, I have a habit of trying to persuade somebody to do something that I think might be right for them. But see, once I get an inclination that, yeah, this is not for them, I just give up. Alright? I just give up. And that's the thing, I'm a total pushover when it comes to an argument, right? I'll just get my jacket on and walk away, right? Or I'll just have a big strop, right? Like a baby, right? But I'm never going to raise my hand to someone. You know, I'm not going to start throwing fists at people. Really, where's that going to get me? You know, to get my way, to get people to do what I want them to do? No, that's just absolutely pointless. But these people tend to have this weird ego, this narcissism, where it's got to be their way, you know, and they put on this horrible facade of being this gentle person, but right down deep inside they're this dark devil. Really scary stuff. And I grew up watching this, and that's what I thought when you see some of the manipulation that goes on in this. The part where when she's left Ike and she's run away from him with the kids, and he's pulled up in the car and the kids just run over to him. That took me back to my childhood, something rotten. That was something that, you know, you didn't understand as a child. You see your father, and he's spoiling you. He's making sure that he's doing more things with you. He's taking you to the pictures. He's doing all these things that he never did before. He couldn't be bothered doing, but because now they're separated, oh, he's so attentive, he's so loving and brilliant. But then, oh yeah, once he's back, then the party starts again, right? That's when the fists start flying and the bones start breaking, and that's what I'm saying. This movie gets it. It understands this nightmare. Yeah, I really love this movie, and I don't really think I could sit through it again, to be honest. There's so many triggering moments for me. There's so many moments in this that I just thought, yeah, that's stuff in the past, 30 odd years ago, that, you know, that I'd never think about, and I'm tougher than that. But no, there's some of the moments in this really took me back to my childhood, and it was quite disturbing to watch. And all the performances are fantastic, right? Everybody in this movie is not perfect, but Angela Bassett and Laurence Fishburne, they are absolutely incredible. They're both absolutely brilliant. To be fair, Angela Bassett doesn't sing the songs. She's lip syncing to Tina Turner herself, right? And that's perfectly fine. And but yeah, What's Love Got to Do with It? Not ideal for Valentine's Day, right? Hence the title of this show, Passion Killers. I'm killing the passion here by talking about these miserable films, right? But it is a real triumph. It is a real superhero story. All the men come in these places, and the men are all the same. You don't look at their faces, and you don't ask their name. You don't think of them as human. You don't think of them at all. Keep your mind on the money, keeping your eyes on the wall. I'm your private dancer, dancer for money. Do what you want me to do. I'm your private dancer, dancer for money, and any old music will do. I'm your private dancer, dancer for money, do what you want me to do. I'm your private dancer, dancer for money, and any old music will do.